Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another movie review with your boy GorTheMovieGod. That's me. Hello, hi. And I just got out of the theater from seeing a little movie called The Equalizer 2, starring, of course, Denzel Washington. He is back as Robert McCall, and I actually really enjoyed the first movie for the most part. The first hour and a half of that movie was really exciting, really fun, great action scenes. Denzel laying some smackdown and also laying some freaking knowledge on some people. It's just telling them how it should be, how it is, how to be a good, respectable person, while also breaking necks, which was enjoyable. And I just liked watching him just, you know, treat some people like dirt like they should be. So it was a good time. It was a good time. The last about 30 minutes of that movie went on way too long. Like pretty much right at the point where they get to that Home Alone trap setting invasion action scene at the end, where it goes on for like 20-30 minutes. I was just like, Jesus, wrap it up. Like, that was the longest action scene of any movie of that year. I assure you of that. It was so long. And now we have this movie, the second one, and guess what? Even though I will say this, I still enjoyed it. I still enjoy my time with this movie. It has the exact same problems. Is it stupid? Yes. Is he like a superhero? Yeah. Is he overly intelligent where you don't even feel like he will ever get shot, hurt, damaged, cut? He ain't even go break a toenail off? Yeah, he's a superhero. He's pretty much a superhero in this movie, and you don't need to worry about him at all, because you know he's just gonna pull through, just like in the first one. Actually, in the first one, they actually do give him some damage at one point, which I was like, whoa, okay. Here, he's just like an indestructible force, and it's fun to watch, don't get me wrong, and it's really fun to watch the first hour and a half, just him, like, picking up people in his car, because he works for Lyft. And he's just like picking people up and like talking to them, and they tell him his problems or their problems, and he solves it. You know, there's one girl that is obviously, she was just raped, so he goes back, you know, he takes care of her, puts her in a hospital, goes back and beats the shit out of some white boys, let me tell you. Whew! Oh, that was satisfying. He even gives the one guy the Spock treatment, which I was upset that line wasn't actually in the movie. In the trailer, he says, hey, you know Spock? Do the Spock thing. And he just breaks his freaking fingers. He didn't say that line in the movie, which upset me, because I really like that line in the trailer. But he does some, you know, he gets him some. Let me just say, he fucks some people up. One dude at the end of the movie completely just like guts out, exploded, just dead. I was like, damn, he's fucking people up. So it is really enjoyable watching him just kill all these people, and also, just like in the first one, sitting down and like telling people how it is and how they should be and how they should be a responsible person. There's one guy in this who's like a kid who's like all into gangs and stuff. He even teaches him how to be a respectable human. Hey, you want to be a drawer? Good. You want to be a painter? You should focus on that. He even saves him a couple times, and there's like a nice little bond that forms between them, which I thought was really good. The action scenes are great. There's one car chase. It's not even a car chase. It's like a car fight scene where he's fighting someone in a car while also driving it, and he's using the car to fight off this guy that has a gun. So he's like banging the car into other cars, and he's like the guy trying to kill him is like moving around in the car and stuff. It's really well done, actually. It was very well done scene. The camera work is very good when it comes to the action scenes. You can tell what the hell's going on, which I have to give them credit for, because a lot of action movies, especially sequels to moderately successful action films, decide, meh, just fuck it. Just do whatever, who cares? I'm looking at you Taken 2 and 3, you fucking piece of shit. I hate you. I hate those movies, especially the third one. Oh, wow. But anyway, this movie doesn't do that. The action's great. Denzel's great. He's doing a great job. He's charming as hell. The writing itself isn't great, but, you know, it's serviceable for what this is. And Denzel definitely alleviates all the bad dialogue. He definitely makes it his own. And if I had any problem, is that, again, the last about 20 minutes, the action scene at the end is exactly the same as the first movie, where he sets traps, he's going around stealthily killing people, but it takes way too long, just like in the first one. Just takes way too long to get to the point. I know what's going to happen. He's an indestructible force. This guy cannot be stopped, so I know what's going to happen. It just takes so long to get to that, and it was really tiresome towards the end. Also, there's a twist that I am so fucking sick of seeing in movies in general, and I'll tell you what it is in a minute, because I'll get to spoilers just real quick. I just want to tell you this because it really bothers me. But we just saw it in a recent movie too that just came out, and I'm so sick of this fucking... Oh, I hate it. And we'll get to it in a second, but I really hated that. The rest of the cast does a great job. Melissa Leo is really good, and she has great chemistry with Denzel. You really do feel like they're friends. Pedro Pascal plays his old ex-partner, and they're great together as well. I really like Pedro Pascal. I think he's a great actor. Bill Pullman's not really in it too much, but when he's in it, he's good. For the most part, everybody is good. Even the villains in the movie, they're not great and they're not fleshed out, but they do a good job for the most part. The movie's violent. The movie's extremely violent, actually, and it's definitely not for everybody. But you know what? If you like a good revenge film, then you're gonna like this. It's a good time, even though the movie drags on at the end. That's for sure. All right, so that's my review. If I had to give it a score from 0 to 40, that's my ranking. I'd give it a 27 out of a 40. It was a fun time for the most part. All right, so if you don't want to be spoiled by this, by me, you should probably go. I had a good time, solid time. Go check it out. Okay, so now let's get to the spoiler. Okay, tell me if you've heard this one before. Okay, Denzel meets up with his ex-partner Pedro Pascal. Who is happy to see him. He thought Denzel was dead for a very long time. He's happy to see him, and they're trying to figure out this whole plot of like people are dying. Melissa Leo's character gets killed, and everybody's dying, and there's a big cover-up of something. I don't even really know. To be honest, the story itself isn't that great. It's pretty generic and also not hard to follow. It's just like it doesn't really matter. You just want to see Denzel cure everybody's problems, pretty much. So there's one part where Denzel and Pedro Pascal have a little sit down, and Denzel reveals that Pedro Pascal is actually a villain. He's a bad guy. And I sat in that theater. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Another movie. I hate this fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? I hate this cliche, there you go, of the ex-partner that's happy to see his old friend that he hasn't seen in a long time. And uh-oh, guess what? You find out they're the villain. Ooh, they betrayed the Denzel. Ooh, they betrayed the Dwayne Johnson, which we just saw that in Skyscraper. Spoilers, and not like it fucking matters. But we see that so many times. I'm so sick of that cliche. That is the worst cliche in movies now, and we see it all the time. If you see an ex-partner that is palling around with his older ex-partner, like usually they're older than the, like Denzel's definitely older than Pedro Pascal, you know what I mean. But then you know that the side character who's the ex-partner is going to be the villain. At this point, I just have to assume that because every fucking movie does it now. So that I really hated. I actually hated that more than the overall action scene at the end, because at least the action scene at the end had some cool cinematography because it took place all during a hurricane, which I thought was a good idea. It also reminded me of the Hurricane Heist. Get that money. Oh man, I love that movie. But there you go. That's it. So that's my review. Quick review for The Equalizer 2. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. And until next time, of course, goodbye.